man. Come on, do it again.
I do. Nice. Do it again. Hall of Fame speaker, Jason Hewlett. So if you have any questions or Q&A, just put them in the chat window, and I'll help facilitate that with Jason. If not, Jeff and I are going to log off. And Jason, take it away, man.
Don't log off. We need you. Logan, thank you for the intro. Jeff, your family is so amazing. I love it. Apparently, they were writing unicorns earlier for all the other jealous families. That's just how Jeff rolls. He's like, I got Truss going. Let's get some unicorns. So congratulations to Jeff. But here's the thing, you guys. I'm pleased to be here with you. We're going to have a fun time tonight in the sense that I'm going to show you some things with my face and do some things with my voice that people normally can't do or won't try. And so I hope that this will make you laugh a little bit, but also make you think. What I first would love, if there are families that are sitting there thinking, I want to interact with Jason on this, I'd love if you would post or comment in the stream, if you want to comment what it is that you feel is your family promise. It might be your family proclamation. That thing that you guys are bringing to the world, what is it? Maybe you've never thought of it, and maybe we'll get to a place where we can define what that might be for you. But as I'm presenting tonight, I want you to think about the talents and the gifts and the skills of everyone in your family. Your family has unique individuals in it. Everybody has something that makes them extraordinary and unique. I want to show you a picture of my family. This is my sweet little family. We had 4 kids in 5 years. Holy heavens. We are from Utah. And here's what's fun is that these kids all have individual incredible talents. I want you to look at them for a second. Your family might not look like mine, and mine doesn't look like yours. That's okay. But I just want you to think about your family and the great talents that each child has. The children that are surrounding you, the spouse or the partner that's with you, the person you're caring for tonight and today. What are their talents and their gifts and their skills? Because they have what I call signature moves, something that makes them unique in this world. And that's how I began my career, was as an entertainer in Las Vegas. If you're cool, I'd like to start it off with some music. Is that okay? I think we should go for some music tonight to get us rolling. And hey, I hope you remember a guy named Bob Dylan. Yeah, here we go. Hey, Mr. Quarantine Man, stay at home for me. I'm not sickly, and I hope you don't get sick too. Hey, Mr. Quarantine Man, this is Truss in the spring. And if you don't like this program, go watch the Tiger King. Bob Dylan, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So I started my career in Las Vegas as an entertainer. Isn't that cool? All I really had to do was impersonate the signature moves and the talents and the gifts of the people that I wanted to impersonate. And I call that the promise. Every single talented person has something that makes them unique. It's their signature moves. And so if you guys wanted to post in the comment stream outside of like what your family promise or proclamation is, maybe you could tell me what it is that are your signature moves that make you unique. And that's what the promise message is about tonight, is that we need to share our promise in everything that we do. So for example, if I turn on some music, this should make you think about your signature move, because every artist has theirs, just like you have yours. I hope you've heard of the Bee Gees. Oh yeah, these guys are amazing, yeah? Here's the thing, when you hear this music, what happens naturally? The signature move goes like this. Here we go.
Well, you can tell by the way I sing this song, I'm a woman's man, but not for long. Oh, I could try to sing so high, I could make a big dog cry. Yes, I would sing so high tonight, fingers left and right. You can try to understand, but we're not being that other man. Turn up your pants and do this with your hands, man. Sing away high, you're singing away high. We're gonna keep it singing until is it bleeding now? Stay alive, ha 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 ha. Stay alive, ha 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 ha. Stay alive.
All right, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bee Gees, thank you, thank you. This is a little different than Las Vegas. Whoa. I hope that you're thinking about your signature moves as you're watching me, that which makes you unique, because you have it. For example, if I were to show you guys the idea of the signature moves, I just call it very simply signature moves, and it's called the ICM process. We're going to go through this tonight because it's important for you to think about what it is that you have that makes you unique among everyone in your family and in the world. The ICM process is simply this: identify, clarify, magnify. Have you ever thought about the gifts and the talents, the skills that you have? You have so many more than you realize, and that's why I like to show a picture of my family, because this is why I created this, was for families to realize that they have signature moves. Every single child has something unique that makes them extraordinary. And it is through the ICM process that we can do that. So step 1 is identify, step 2 is clarify, and step 3 is magnify. When we identify that which makes us unique, we'll go through each of these points, but I want you to start thinking about what it is that makes you different. What is your voice? Because you have one. You've been using it your whole life. Just like all of these artists that I'm going to do right now. I hope you enjoy some of these because they have something unique about them. REO Speedwagon. I hope I'm taking some of the parents back to the school dance with the person they didn't want to be with. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to overemphasize the letter R, because that was the signature move this guy sang with. I can't fight this feeling any longer, yet I'm still afraid to let it flow. What started out as friendship has grown stronger. I only wish I had the strength to let it show. All right, if you know it, sing along. Here we go. And I can't find this feeling anymore. Hold those stones up. Oh, I've forgotten what I started fighting for. And if I have to crawl upon the floor, from the passion to the door, baby, I can't fight this feeling anymore. All right, that's REO Speedwagon, one of my favorites. And then, of course, there is Air Supply. I remember the first time I heard Air Supply. I thought, is this Dorothy having run into the Munchkins? I don't know. But I love this song, and the way he sounded was so iconic. It goes like this. I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. I know you were right. Believing the so lost. I'm all out of love. But am I without you? It can be too late to say that I was so wrong. Thank you, thank you. Oh, that feels so nice to not have any applause. It feels kind of like most of my corporate events when I'm performing for engineers. I don't mean that to be rude. I'm just saying they have the signature move of silence. They just laugh inside their body, and I know I'm just throwing that out as a joke, but the truth is it's fun to perform for certain groups, and others are a little more challenging, if you will, because what they do is they're a little bit quieter. But everyone has their own sound, their own thing, that which makes them unique. And so we're going to go through this process tonight called signature moves: identify, clarify, magnify. If you're sitting with your family, with your children right now, here's what I want you to do. Grab a piece of paper, maybe a pen, and we're going to go through each of these steps as I entertain you and educate you on some cool ideas and thoughts. This identify process is not a place to start thinking about what you don't have. This is more about what makes you amazing, because you have incredible talents and skills. Now, rather than just saying, what's your one signature move? What's that one thing that makes you who you are? Maybe you don't know what it is. Maybe you can't think of it as like, you know, you're a performer and you have your move or your certain sound of voice, but you have talents that are incredible and they make you extraordinarily who you are. So how do you share them? Here's how you find them, actually. Let's discover it. We're going to do the discovery process right here. I want you to try your best to write up to 100 gifts that you have. Gifts, talents, skills, aspirations, things that make you who you are. You might think, there's no way. I can't even write 10. Well, guess what? If I were to say, hey, write down 10 things that you need to improve, you'd be like, oh, I got 20. That's easy. So tonight we're going to go for 100 things that make you awesome because you've got them. And then we're going to go through and circle them and then come up with your top 10. These are just the things that make you who you are. And now I'm going to show you, if I were writing this out for myself, what this would look like. I actually am going to show you a word bank of words that I really connect with, that I think are who I am. You see, I think that I'm a composer and a writer. I'm joyful and a journaler. I'm a husband and a reader, musician and a dancer. Okay, so now can I write more? Oh yeah, there's more. I just have to think it through. I am a family man, I'm a dad, I'm a speaker, I'm a listener even, and I'm faithful. I have so many things that make me who I am, and as you're looking at this, I hope that you're thinking about who you are, because you have extraordinary talents and gifts. And now, for example, if I can only get this far, maybe this is about 25 on this page, you know, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't know if I can get that far. Well, I want you to write these out, what you think you stand for, who you are, what makes you extraordinary. You've got them, you've used them your whole life. And maybe there are things you want to become. And then if I were to take something like entertainer and pull something out of that, it's very simple. I could just say, what makes an entertainer? It actually means that I'm a very hard worker. I'm resilient. I need to own a business, so I'm an entrepreneur as well. And I also have all of these other capabilities in making it so that I can share my entertainment gift with the world. And so as you're looking at your word bank, it might not look at all like mine. And that's the point of this. I want you to think about what you have that makes you unique. And then eventually, as you get all those written out, you just start circling the ones you really, really identify with. That which makes you who you are. It is your voice. And when I come up with my top 10, you see, my list slowly became this. I feel that I'm an artist. I'm a family man, a funny guy. I'm an entertainer. I have all these things that I believe are who I am. This is my top 10. I would love for you as a family tonight to utilize this process of ICM and help each other to figure it out. We're going to talk about how you can help each other in just a moment with the second part of the process. But as you identify your many gifts, because you have them, you can change the world in a very unique way. You have extraordinary talents and gifts that you may not even realize you have. And how do you share them with others? That's what's important. Because what I'm doing right now is I'm showing you that I can do fairly funny things. I mean, I'm skipping through on my iPod just to show you some of these things. For example, if I do a song like Come On Eileen, some of the parents will know this one. This is me identifying my talents and sharing what I've got. It goes like this. Poor old Johnny Ray. I don't know the words, but you know, to right, and we sing just like your father. All right, how about this version? Oh, COVID-19, well, I swear it's not me. I don't have it. Maybe I don't have it. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? You can try things. You can try to explore what you've got. Maybe you're a musician. Maybe you're a problem solver. Maybe your parents are incredible business owners. Maybe they've done amazing things and lived their dreams. And as you're looking at your parents and going, what do I have? What can I do and create with my life? Your parents can help you to establish that. And that becomes your family promise to be that kind of person, to utilize it in your life. And so I hope that you'll get inspired to realize that you have incredible talents and gifts. And And that's what's fun about doing some of this music, in my opinion, is that every single one of these artists that I'm doing music and impression of, these are some of the greatest singers of all time. And I want to see if you guys know this one. It's time to sing along. Who remembers this guy? Bon Jovi. Oh, yeah. You know we got to hold on to what we've got. It doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. We got each other, and that's your life for love. We'll give it a shot. Whoa, I'm halfway there. Come on, parents. Whoa, living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Oh, living on a prayer, living on a prayer. Come on, Bon Jovi. Oh, man, I love it. I love that he has all those gifts and he shares them with the world. Every single artist shares their specific talents. They have something that makes them uniquely them. And then you might be sitting there thinking, I'm not a performer. I don't have any of these talents. That's okay. That's what's so cool about this process of ICM, is that everyone has so many unique gifts and skills. It doesn't matter how or when you use them. It just matters that you do. Because if you don't, you're breaking a promise to the world to be who you are. You see, when I came home from a long flight. You know, flights are these things that people do on airplanes, and they fly around. And we used to do that back then, you know, like 2 months ago. Yeah, maybe if you were really in trouble, a week ago. But I'm just saying that I was flying, and I came home back to Salt Lake City, and I sat down in the shuttle bus. I want you to think about the shuttle bus and their promise for the long-term parking lot. The long-term parking lot's just like, hey, how quick can we get from the airport and back? And if you're a shuttle driver for that, that might seem like a pretty boring, mundane job. Actually, you can make it incredible if you're willing to be awesome, if you're willing to use your gifts. That's what happened with the bus driver. You see, this bus driver is not a performer on big stages, doesn't do big Zoom calls and WebEx and all this cool stuff we're doing right now. But this driver had a normal route that she did every single day that could be considered a fairly boring existence. Instead, she decided somewhere along the line that she was going to share her gifts as only she can, because she has them and she needs to share them. And so as I'm sitting down with the other weary travelers looking side to side, all of a sudden she came over the intercom and she said, well, hello, everybody, and welcome home to Salt Lake City. What you didn't realize is that you just entered the party bus. Now, if you want to get home and you want to see your family, I need everyone to say, yeehaw! I'm a motivational speaker, and I was like, shut up. No, that's what I was thinking. But I want you to know that even if someone's not going to participate and play and have a good time and go along with it, sometimes you have to just be a leader, and you have to just say, I'm going to keep my promise to continue to deliver 100%. That's what this shuttle driver did. None of us on the shuttle said, yeehaw. We just sat there silently waiting for her to turn on the shuttle. And she just waited, because she knows that failing frequently equals success. So she came back on the intercom and said, I guess no one wants to get home. So if you want to get home tonight and you want to see your family, I need everyone to say yeehaw. And I was like, yeehaw. And then we started driving. She said, all right. And now we're having a party. I don't know if any of the parents out there have ever felt this way, where you're like, hey, we're going to do this cool thing. And the kids are like, no, we're not. I'm not even a part of that. That's kind of what it was like. And we're driving around. Maybe it's the kids. The kids are like, hey, mom and dad, let's do this. And the parents are like, we always do it the same way. Okay, so it's the same thing. The driver was driving, and she was telling jokes that made no sense to us. But she was laughing as if we were all a part of her party. She's telling jokes that make no sense. Like, and then the turtle went in the garden, and the 3 snails climbed on its back, and it happened so fast. And we're like, what the heck is this lady? All of a sudden, she pulled up to the first stop. What's the promise of the shuttle driver at a bus stop? It's to open the door. That's it. She opened the door, and then she put it into park, and then she ran out the door. And she grabbed the luggage of the person who was standing there, flung the luggage onto the shuttle bus. Confused passenger walked on like, what's going on? And the little shuttle driver came back up the stairs and said, hey, everybody, let's welcome a new friend. And we all went, yeehaw! Now, she created an engagement experience. She created the promise with this moment, in that she was utilizing her talents, her gifts, and her skills in a normal setting as a shuttle driver at the Salt Lake airport. And all of a sudden, all of us on the bus started laughing and being a part of her excitement. We were energized and happy to be there. And I started to lament that I had parked so close at stop 6, because by stop 2 and stop 3 and stop 4, we were high-fiving people, we were fist bumping, we were chest bumping people we shouldn't be chest bumping. This was before social distancing, but I'm just saying, we were having a party created by somebody who has a special talent set and is willing to share it. And so are you willing to share yours? Because you have them. They make you uniquely who you are. And if you don't share them, then you're breaking the promise. And so, how are you keeping the promise yourself? Step 1 is identify. Have you identified your talents and your gifts? That which would be your top 10. Hopefully you can go through that tonight, or as a family, as you schedule another family meeting, let's say, and really work on identifying them. The next one would have to be something that's pretty cool. Once you go through all of these talents that you've got, and of course you circle them and you come up with that top 10, you've now got your signature moves that you identify with. And I hope you'll keep your promise to do that. When we get to the second step of clarify, clarify is really just about the people that love you and that know you the best. You see, everybody that you're with right now, they probably think the world of you. They probably think you're an awesome person. And here's the thing, the clarify step is all about refining that which makes you uniquely who you are. And so how do you do that? First of all, you ask your family. Ask them what it is that makes you unique. You could ask even your team and your customers if you're, if you're in business for yourself. And this really helps you to identify that which makes you who you are. And so have you ever thought about how you come up with what it is that makes you uniquely you? Because those are different words when they come from someone else. So maybe at this point where you're sitting there like, I've identified a couple of talents and gifts and I'm not sure what I really give to the world. Now it's the parent's turn to take over and help the child to really see, I do have a lot of gifts. I do have some talents and things that make me great. When I sit down with my family, we love to figure out how we can do certain things. For example, we like to find out how my son can work on his video projects because he loves editing video. My daughter, she was just named the Moose of the Month by her school today. We were blown away when they rang the doorbell and they were like, you win the Moose of the Month. She is a leader in her school. She gives back by serving and loving other people, even through her computer and texting her friends to keep them connected at this time. Each of my children have something special, but we have to point it out to them by saying to my daughter, you're a good leader. How are you being an example? What are the things that you can continue to share that make you great? Or to my son by saying, what do you want to create as far as the video is concerned? And then we get him the products and the technology that he needs. That's important as parents that we do that. But think about the words that someone else might say. When I asked my wife, the words were different than the words I came up with for myself. In fact, I emailed all of my family, my parents, my siblings, even my mentors and friends. And guess what happened? They sent me words I never would have given myself. They said things like, I'm giving and inspirational. I'm a good friend and incredible. I wouldn't have said that about myself, but they said that about me. Look at the other words they gave me. They said, I'm focused, I'm intense, I'm thoughtful, I'm a hard worker, I'm reliable, I'm crazy. What? I love that they came up with these words, but think about those words. That changes the way I look at myself. Look at those words. I am a spiritual person. They say that I'm intense, and I'm admirable, and I'm focused and capable. My friends, as you're watching this, thinking, I don't know if it's such a big deal that I do that project he's asking me to do, I hope that you will, because it'll change the way that you look at yourself and you look at the people around you. As we are quarantined still at this moment, in the midst of a pandemic, maybe you're growing sick of each other. That's very likely. But at the same time, how can you see the greatness in each other? Because everyone has something great that makes them unique and special, extraordinary. Give them those words. They can't see these words in themselves. Even I, as a motivational speaker and guy, would not have come up with this list for myself. You see, I came up with a different list. I came up with this list that popped up right here. This is my top 10 of identify, and the one on your right is clarify. And guess what happens? When I shuffle the words around, they actually kind of match up. If we were to go from the bottom up, watch what happens. If I were to say I'm a worker, they would tell me I'm a hard worker. If they told me if I thought I was persistent, they say I have integrity. If I think I'm committed, they say I'm faithful. If I think I'm an entertainer, they say I'm entertaining. That confirms it. I think I'm funny. Well, they think I'm hilarious. Well, that's nice. I like to say I'm a family man. They say I'm a great dad. I identify as an artist. They say I'm creative. As you're thinking about these words for yourself and for the people that you've now told them to, hopefully they're seeing that they have way more than they ever realized, because now this list becomes my signature moves that I identify with. I truly believe that if you were to take your time tonight or at a special family meeting and say, let's put the ICM process to the test. Let's actually help each other discover our signature moves. And as you see, I'm just sharing my own, but I wanted to share them with you because you have extraordinary talents and you need to go through the clarify process of refining them with each other. So first of all, ask your family, then ask the team and the customers that you work with, because those people see things in you you have no idea you've got. And as you start to share them, that changes the way that you see yourself. You see, when I was in high school, I thought I was going to be an NBA basketball player. The NBA is on hiatus, and it's so sad. I love basketball, and we're missing the whole season, darn it. But I really wanted to be an NBA basketball player, and I actually had a Letterman jacket. I had a full ride scholarship to BYU, and I was feeling pretty good about myself. It wasn't to be the basketball player, it was to be the manager on the basketball team. In fact, I was offered a full ride just because I was funny. They wanted me to be the manager of the team. I was good enough to get to Glacier and be on the team in that capacity. But here's the story. As I'm walking down the hall, feeling good about myself at school, high school, all of a sudden the voice inside of me started to come out. You see, I had never been a singer. I was a basketball player. That's all I identified myself as. And as I started to feel good about myself, the voice inside my body accidentally came out. We are on my way. This was before Glee, so no one knew I was doing this. I was just like, we are on my way. People behind me were like, oh, we mo up, oh, we mo up. Oh. No, it didn't happen. I wanted it to. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the door to the choir room flew open, and this lady went, ah! Her name was Mrs. Hall. She was the choir teacher. I had never been in choir. And she said, who's singing in the hoo? She's from Wales. So she had an accent. Who's singing in the hoo? And I said, it was me. I'm sorry. I'll stop. She said, don't stop. You have a gift. I said, I have a gift. I'm a basketball player. And she looked at me and said, probably not. You're a singer. Come into my classroom. So I walked into her classroom and I'm like, what are we doing? She said, this is your audition. Sing for me. And I was like, I don't sing. She said, I heard you in the hall. You're a singer. Sing me a song. I didn't know what to do. Can you imagine what would you do? You're 17 years old. You're too cool to sing. You already got a basketball scholarship. You know this doesn't mean anything. And so what I did is I just kind of did whatever I wanted. I sang a song that was just kind of silly. I did Alvin and the Chipmunks. Do any of the kids here remember Alvin and the Chipmunks? It goes like this.
Christmas, Christmas time is near. Time for toys and time for two. Finger Bobby can last. Hurry Christmas, hurry fast. Want a plane that loops the loop, moves around the hula hoop. You can hardly stand the it. Please Christmas don't be late.
Mrs. Hall looked at me and said, that's not normal. The next thing I knew, I was actually somebody that she started mentoring. She said, you have a gift. That's not a normal voice. I said, anybody can do that. She said, nobody can do that. And I said, well, I can do other voices. And she said, really? Show me. So I started to show her some more voices. But I wanted to first show you a picture of her. This is Mrs. Hall. She changed my life. Some of you might know her. I think Logan probably knows her because she taught music for years at BYU. She's amazing. And she changed so many people's perspectives of themselves. Why do I include her here? Because she was my mentor. She was somebody who clarified for me. You see that ICM process, identify, clarify, magnify. She clarified for me something I didn't even know I had. You're a singer. And the next thing I knew, I became a singer. I'm so grateful for Mrs. Hall. She saw in me talents that I had no idea I had. And she helped me redefine my entire life because she was an extraordinary person. As you're thinking about your life and all of the gifts that you have incredible talents and skills and gifts. And as you share them with the world, you'll be able to do incredible things. Even if I was doing fun voices or silly voices or powerful, really good voices, I was doing whatever I could to share my gifts and my talents. For example, I hope you remember this unforgettable duet by a father and a daughter. Nat King Cole and his daughter Natalie. It goes like this. Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, the near or far. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. When we help each other find our gifts and our talents, we are somebody that helps the world once somebody actually accepts that that's their gift. And so are you helping each other to find it? Like Mrs. Hall, she changed everything for me. I'm so grateful for her. And there are people like this all over the world who do this for others. How are you helping somebody to find out their true gift and their signature moves? Because they have them and they might not even know what they are. And so I'm so grateful for Mrs. Hall. She changed so much for me. The final part of the ICM process, identify, clarify, is magnify. How do we magnify our gifts? Well, we just simply do something very easy and we make a promise. When we make this promise, it changes the way that we live. First of all, we have to own it, that which makes us unique. We've now identified and clarified our signature moves. So how do we own that which makes us unique? We then need to leverage it. Use it in every capacity in order to bless lives. And then finally, we need to teach and share it. I'm teaching and sharing this to you today because I want to help you discover your signature moves. And so when it comes to finding out what yours are, I hope that you'll share them, because I want to show you now what happened when I was a kid. I found out I could do some funny things with my face, and I need to use the GoPro for this. So this is kind of cool. Now, here's the thing. Yeah. I don't know if we have any 5-year-olds out there. If there are any out there, I'm waving at you right now. But when I was 5 years old, I got on the school bus. And this kid in the back said, "Hey, you have a huge mouth." And I was like, "You're right." And I went, "Ah." And he was like, "Sit by us. This will be fun." So all the way to school, I was sitting by a guy on the bus that was making fun of me. He's like, "Dude, look at this guy." And I was like, "Ah." And everybody knew me as the kid with the big mouth. At the end of the school day, I didn't feel very good about myself, that's for sure. My mom said, "How was school? Was it great?" I said, "No, they said I'm ugly and I have a big mouth." And she looked at me like any mom would. And she said, "Son, you're not ugly, but you have a big mouth. You're just going to have to live with that." And she said, "What do you do when they say you have a big mouth?" I go, "Hi." And she goes, "Don't do that. Don't do that anymore. Why don't you just smile?" And so I started to smile. I became someone who smiles instead. And I want you to think about how you smile in your life, because you have an awesome smile. And the light that you shine is the light you receive. I hope that you're sharing your gift. It wasn't until I went to the dentist that I realized it's okay to be who I am and to have what I have. That's what makes me unique. The dentist said, as I sat down in the chair, he said, "Open wide." And I went, "Ah," and I was 5. And he goes, "Wow, you have a big mouth." And I went, "Ah," and he goes, "You can close it a little bit." So yeah, he said, "I'm not going to use both hands." And the next thing I know, I could do the sounds of the dentist's office. He didn't know they were on or off. The tools, I was like, and he's like, "Is this thing on?" I was like, "I don't know. It's stuck on my tongue." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy. You're the funniest kid." And then he pulled the tool out of my mouth and my lips stayed like that. And he said, "How do you do that?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "Don't do that." So I stopped. He said, "Do it again." And I could. And he goes, "That's your gift." So as you're looking at my gift, I hope you're grateful now for what you got, because yours are better than that. Come on, this is all I got. The dentist said, "If you can do it with that side, you should be able to do the other side." And guess what? He was right. I could totally do the other side. I found out that I could move my lip back and forth. Now, whether you can see this perfectly with the streaming and the bandwidth and everyone watching Netflix all around or not, nothing is changing on the screen. This is normal. This is what I bring to the world. This is it. The dentist looked at me and he said, "That's a talent. That's a gift. Do you see the ICM process in working here?" Identify, clarify, magnify. I've lived it my whole life. That's why I can teach it to you. When the dentist said that was interesting and different, he said, "Can you do something else?" I found out I could catch a wave like the ocean. Oh, yeah. What about my upper eyebrow area? Yeah, I could combine it all together. Hey, ladies. Oh, yeah. And so you could imagine how fun that was growing up with that skill. Identify, clarify, magnify your talents, and you can spread joy. You see, a lot of people, when I do that, I was like, "Hey, look at what I found out I can do. I can do these things with my face." Do you think people were like, "That's very attractive"? No, they were like, "I don't know if you should do that in public." But I found out I could do things and it made people laugh. So when people said, "Hey, that's ugly," I could either listen to the "that's ugly" part, or I could listen to the laughter. So when you've thought about your talents, your gifts, your skills, your, as we call them, signature moves, here are mine. Have you written out yours? I hope that you will, and take a moment with your family and really commit to this process. Because knowing these are my signature moves, this changes the way I live every single day. I'm so grateful I have them, because now, even though I've always been an entertainer and I've always been, somebody who works hard and is creative, I'm telling you what's really coming to play right now in this business for me is I am a worker. I am a hard worker. I'm reliable to make on the call and do my best. I'm tenacious in going after this, and I'm very faithful to the process. I want you to think about how that would transform your life if you knew it in the midst of a pandemic. I haven't shared yet with you this, but I'm a performer, a speaker on large stages in front of thousands of people. I've done that for 20 years as my only source of income. One way to make a living in front of everybody, and it's a wonderful life. But now I have no work whatsoever. Everything is gone. And guess what? That's okay. Because why? I know exactly who I am. I have my signature moves, that which makes me different. I am tenacious. I am not going to give up. I am committed to making this work. And so I want you to think about how you would pivot or shift at a time like this and utilize your signature moves. I'm still able to utilize mine, and I can still bring joy to people even through a little camera like this. I hope you've enjoyed this tonight and you've thought more about what you've got, because you have incredible talents and gifts. You have talents I don't have, and I have talents you don't want. You can imagine when I'm walking down the path and people are coming towards me and I have my mask on and they have their mask on, and we're supposed to get out of each other's way. I just pulled my mask down and I go, "Hey, you don't want what I've got." It's fun to mess with people. I also turn into a raptor. I do this for my children as Daddy Dinosaur. I'm like, "Arr, arr," and I start to walk towards the people like, "You don't want what I've got." And I love messing with people. But I'm just saying, how do you share your gifts? Because you've got them. Do you use them or do you hide them? Even if they're weird, because what I've got is pretty darn weird, as you can see. But identify, clarify, and magnify. I hope that you'll utilize this in your life because you have extraordinary talents. I tonight have identified some of mine and clarified what others have said. And now I'm magnifying them for you. I appreciate that you would be here with me tonight, and you've allowed me to take you through the ICM process of signature moves. Truly, it's a promise that we can make and keep if we're willing to work hard enough to find out what makes us who we are. And when we do that, we also transform the lives of whom? Our family. These are the most important people in my life. My children have extraordinary talents. And guess who else has some amazing gifts? My wife. I'm so grateful for her talents, especially now in quarantine. She's the best person to be quarantined with because she can make sourdough bread, and it is so delicious. She is incredible. All of these people are. I hope you feel the same about your family and that you love them and you're grateful for them. And I'm going to close with a couple more songs, but I didn't know if Logan wanted to maybe pop on and ask a question or two or have me clarify something. We're coming to the end of our time, and I know it's a long family night. Logan, did you have anything to throw at him?
No, just thank you, Jason. This has been a privilege. I did know Miss Hall. She was my men's chorus director, but it was Miss Taylor who stopped me in the hall of high school and told me to audition for choir. And I said, "No, I'm a baseball player."
We're the same, see?
So I'm very grateful for her. So
what a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well, and I appreciate that I could be on here with you guys. And I wanted to do something if I could offer Truss something very special. If anyone wants to get their phones out, all they have to do, this is a gift from me, from Truss, for you guys hanging out with us tonight. I just want you to text the letters JHE to the number 22828. And here's what'll happen. In your inbox, you'll get a bunch of cool videos. You'll get my ebook. You'll get all kinds of neat things. My ebook, Signature Moves, How to Stand Out in a Sit-Down World. It's out of print other than ebook. But this is just a bunch of cool things, videos, articles you can watch as a family, and you can further drive home the idea of your promise. This will give you something as well if you own a business to share with your teams. Inspire them on a Monday motivation. I'd love to be that guy that does that for you. So I hope that your people will take advantage of it tonight, Logan, and everyone that's watching might have that gift. And finally, I wanted to share with you guys something really cool. I actually wrote a book. I wrote this book called The Promise, to the one. The promise to the one is yourself. And if you haven't thought about the promise you've made to yourself lately, I hope that as you leave this call tonight, maybe your promise would be that you're going to do as best as you can at this time to live your best self, your best life. I wrote this book last year. I'm so proud of it. It comes out as an ebook this very next week on May 13th on Amazon and everywhere. So I'm very excited about that. And I feel it's important that everyone should share their voice, share their gift, because everyone has something that makes them unique and great. Just like this last guy I'm going to share with you guys, and then we'll be done. This is Louis Armstrong, and I love this voice. Here we go.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? Do. They really said, oh yes, I love you, I hear. Babies cry, boo-doo-be-doo, I watch them grow. Tap-tap-boo-pap-pap, their name makes grow, yes, and I even know, yes, and I think to myself, what would you do? What a wonderful world. Oh yeah, ba-ba-do-do-da-da. Yes, I think to myself, do-do-do. What a wonderful world. Oh yeah, ba-ba-do-do-da-da-da.
Share your signature moves. Keep the promise. I'm Jason Hewlett. Thank you, guys.